What up, though? Welcome to the She's Too Quiet podcast. This podcast is for the ones who've been overlooked, underestimated, or simply too quiet for the noise of this world. I'm Tania, a fellow introvert and woman of faith, inviting you to find strength in stillness, clarity in solitude, and purpose in your quiet voice. Every episode, you'll hear reflections, devotions, and quiet confessions that remind you don't have to be loud to be powerful. And if you're listening, you're already a part of the Quiet Power Club, a space where we celebrate gentle strength and the God who meets us in the silence. Let's get into it. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. It is officially the end of the week. I hope your week has gone great. I know I missed checking in with you guys because I only drop on Fridays, but happy Veterans Day. I know that was on Tuesday. To all of those who served in the armed forces, we appreciate your service and we thank you for putting your lives on the line to protect and serve. So shout out to y'all. I work closely with the government and military workers in my past few jobs. So I definitely understand the dedication and commitment that it takes to do what you do. And again, we just thank you for your service. So today's episode, we're going to talk about something a little exciting for me. We're going to be talking about planning. So as you know, I am a huge proponent or supporter of planning, strategizing, and forward thinking. So as we enter the last couple of months of 2025, it is imperative, if you are a planner such as myself, to begin plotting on 2026. Okay. So what does that mean? That means being intentional, and that means activating your faith. So today's episode is called Quiet Plans, Bold Faith, Preparing Your Heart for the Year Ahead. So we're just going to slow down this episode and kind of talk about some ways we can prepare for 2026. I know a lot of times people have, 5-year plan, 10-year plan, 15-year plan. But for me, I go year by year, okay? Ain't no telling what the world gonna throw at you. So I try to do the best that I can to plan year by year. So I'm not gonna let whatever's happening in the world stop me from continuing to plan. One thing that I think we need to keep into perspective is that there is always a hope. There is always a hope for better days. There's always a hope for tomorrow. There's always more than what's in front of you. So find comfort in that, okay? As we look into 2026, I want you to think about the details. Whether you're an introvert like me who likes structure or a dreamer who struggles to commit to plans, this conversation will help you align your goals with God's guidance. I don't know if I've said it on the podcast before, but I do carry this quote around with me in my back pocket as I begin to think about finances, careers, relationships, purchases sometimes. Okay, sometimes purchases, sometimes I don't use this with purchases, but I should probably start. But I say this quote and it has helped me throughout the years. It says, people who fail to plan to fail. Basically, success doesn't happen by accident. It takes planning, knowing where you're headed, and how you will get there. People tend to skimp on this part of the process, and I think if we pay a little bit more attention to this in 2026, sky's the limit, okay? I was talking to one of my friends, I think this past week, or maybe the week before, and she was telling me the importance of trying to get together all of the facts of what it takes for you to get where you want to go. She used the example for a driver's license, right? You say you want to get a driver's license. What do you have to do? What classes do you have to take? How long is the program? Do you have to pay any money for you to get your license? um where's the place you need to go? Those details are needed to get to that driver's license. And if you just have a goal without knowing the details, how will you ever get there? So I'm going to give you a few key points today to kind of help you begin to think about 2026. I want to challenge you this year. I want you to practice forward thinking. And what is forward thinking? To me, that's anticipating challenges, it's considering long term impacts of your decisions, and it's also being proactive about future opportunities, right? We need to be forward thinking, okay? Especially in the year ahead. 2025 has been a whirlwind, and it really made me think of the importance of planning and the importance of anticipating the unexpected. Now, trust me, I am fully aware we cannot prepare for every inconvenience, right? But what we can do is think about them. We can strategize and be prepared for all things. So when something comes to trip us up, it won't hurt us that much. You know what I'm saying? Like it may prick you, but you do have band-aids. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to get at, okay? So the first takeaway I want to give to you today is begin with surrender. Before you make any plans, invite God in. For example, pray something like, Lord, before I write a single goal, I surrender my will to yours. Let my desires reflect your purpose in my life. This shifts your mindset from what do I want to do to what does God want to do through me. Okay, so you see that? You see that shift? Number two, seek scripture before strategy. Spend time reading the word as you set goals. Let verses guide your direction, not just your motivation. Now, I know you've kind of seen some videos, maybe of some people writing verses down and sticking them on their mirror so they read them each and every day. This may be something you want to incorporate as you begin to think about 2026. Let me give you two scriptures, okay? Go ahead, put this in your back pocket. Save this for your flashcards to help you as you begin to think about next year. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. So, the second scripture I'm going to give you is Psalm 37:4. It says, Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Sometimes your goals shift once you spend time in His Word because Scripture redefines success. I know there has been many times in my life I've been reading scriptures, highlighting them, and it's definitely been great to be able to go back to that scripture and apply it to your life. You know, I said this before in previous podcasts, like, what are we doing this for? You know, we need to use what we learn through the scriptures and through hearing the word and pull it and make it practical. Okay, we got to apply this stuff to our lives because if not, what are we doing? Okay, what are we doing? Number three, write goals as prayers. Instead of just writing, this year I want to start a new project, you can write, Lord, if this project aligns with your will, give me clarity, favor, and discipline to carry it out for your glory. This posture keeps you dependent on his leading rather than your own ambition. Number four, examine your why. Now, this particular tip right here, this will save you a lot of time. Sometimes we do stuff and we have no idea why we're doing it. We're not thinking about, okay, after I get this certification, what job can I get? You know what I'm saying? So we spend weeks and weeks trying to meet this goal and we do it and we find out there's no vacancies in my city for this certification. I need to get this and this to really do what I want to do. And I just completed phase one and I had no idea there was a phase two. You know, examine why you are doing what you're doing. Ask yourself, does this goal glorify God or just gratify me? You can ask yourself, will this draw me closer to Him or distract me from Him? Sometimes we set goals and we decide we're going to set off and do this path, but all of a sudden we don't have no time to pray. All of a sudden our Wednesdays are now taken up and we can't go to Bible study. All of a sudden, right? So examine your why. The last question you can ask yourself, you can ask, am I trying to prove something or am I trying to serve someone else? Is this on purpose? You know what I'm saying? Purity of motive is where true alignment happens. Another key tip: wait on his timing. God's pace is often different from our planning. Sometimes he slows us down to grow us up. When doors don't open right away, ask, what are you teaching me in this waiting? Be open to redirection. Sometimes delay is divine protection. There will be times as we get into 2026 that your plans will not go as you thought they would go, okay? But there are reasons, there are methods to the madness. God may be trying to shield you from something, God may be trying to develop something in you. You never know what the true reason behind stuff is until you get on the other side of it, okay? So just be patient and wait on his timing. Number 6, practice ongoing surrender. Check in with God throughout the year, not just at the beginning. For instance, you can set quarterly check-in reminders to pray and reflect on everything you've done. Maybe you can pray and reflect on what you have coming down the pipeline. You can ask God for clarity. You can ask him, hey, am I still walking in step with you? Have I got out of alignment? You could even ask him, is there anything that I need to let go of or refocus on? These check-ins, I feel like, is going to be pivotal to our success in 2026. Number 7, celebrate progress with praise. When you reach milestones, pause to thank God. Gratitude turns achievement into worship. Now, this right here, I feel like this is something we tend to forget. This is where we accidentally say, I did it. There may be times like, man, I did that thing. But really, did you do it or did God do it? Okay, I think God did. So celebrate progress and redirect every success back to God. Redirect every failure back to God and his placement and his perfect timing. This, I feel like, is something that I need to implement a lot more. I definitely celebrate the wins, but I don't reflect and look at, it was all a setup. You know what I'm saying? Like, God truly loves a plot twist, especially when it brings him glory. So this year, celebrate your progress with praise and redirect everything that you've done and glorify God for what he's done for you. Psalms 115 verse 1 says, not to us, Lord, not to us, but to your name be the glory. So if you have a little time for a journal prompt today, I want you to think of one area in your life that God is asking you to plan with him in mind as we approach 2026. Now, there may be some areas in your life that you have tried to plan without God this year. If that is so, I want you to invite him into those areas as we begin 2026. I'm a true believer. Some goals are multiple years. You can't always accomplish everything you want to in one year. So it's okay if you have to carry something over into 2026. Maybe that thing you have to carry over, you realize you didn't include God in it. So I encourage you to include God in that thing this year and see how it comes into fruition, how it blossoms, and how it bears fruit. So take 1 hour this week, no phone, no background noise, and ask God to show you his vision for you for 2026. Write down what you sense, even if it's one word. It could be a phrase, it could be song lyrics, it can be scripture. Write those things down as you begin to think about 2026 in that 1 hour this week. 2026 may be your year of positioning. Like I said before, just invite him in, and I promise you, I feel like he's going to blow your mind. So I do have a song of gratitude to offer you today. Just thanking God for everything he's brought us through this year. It's called Another Year by CeJae. Another Year by CeJae. And CeJae is spelled CeJae. If this episode spoke to you, make sure you follow me on social media Subscribe on YouTube, and of course, you can find She's Too Quiet anywhere podcasts are found. Don't forget to do two things: that's love God and love people. This is for the soft spoken and deeply felt. Until next time, deuces.